I would like to give the people a feeling about the ones who's coming to Holland, and that's you.
Mm,
I told you about Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas, this
yeah,
is in Holland on the 5th of December.
yeah.
And he's coming to Holland every year in the month of November. And the story goes that he's a bishop. Yeah, that's a loaded subject. A bishop of about 500 years old. That depends on the year. Perhaps next year he's 350 years old. And he's a friend of all children. He lives in Spain, they say, and he comes to Holland with the boat and gives presents to the children who behaved well throughout the year.
Okay,
And the presents are given to the children on the 5th of December. That's a
mm,
party for the children.
got it.
I suppose I compare you to St. Nicholas. What gifts do you have to give for the people who are wanting to participate in the first week of December?
Like, where's this going? Well, I did, by the way, do a little just reading about Holland because I'm not that familiar, and I was going to ask you, you know, I don't want to just do the 30,000 foot overview of Holland, but I did read a bit about the history and its culture. But I'd like to maybe know how I could learn. I mean, I'm going to learn about it by being there, and no matter what, I'm with other humans. So, um, thank you for sharing that. As far as like, well, it's interesting because I'm a Sagittarius. My birthday is in December, and Sagittarius are ruled by Jupiter, the planet, the largest planet in the zodiac with 27 moons. And Sagittarians are very expansive and benevolent. And they're, in some ways, Sagittarius has a certain Santa Claus quality.
Ah,
Um, uh, but, I'm a classic Sagittarius. I have the same birthday as Osho. So, speaking the truth, like, I think if you were to talk to the people who've spent uh, a time with me, who know me through my work, or even my children, even people who know me in my personal life, but the people who know me in my work, I am unfailing. I can be fierce and challenging because if I'm trying to help you to fulfill your life purpose, sometimes I have to take away people's illusions. And I don't mean like I'm going to get up and talk about the conspiracies or something, but the illusions that happen inside of the work when you're doing the breath work and the things that you think are going on, or the stories you tell me about your life or what you want for yourself. After 35 years and tens of thousands of people, I listen really, really deeply in a relaxed way, but I hear a lot of things. And depending on what somebody wants, I'm trying to feed back to help people get to where they're going. And in the process of that, it can be difficult sometimes to hear things that I have to say, or because if the structure of your life is keeping you stable, but it doesn't work, and you're going to have to let it go, that can be really challenging. So, what I bring that I think is my most powerful quality is two things. One is I'm unfailing. I believe in people. Like, I'm not cynical. I believe in the opportunity, even you, Frans, to live a life that's truly exalted, powerful, meaningful. And I think every person has that potential. And I'm unfailing. And like people will tell you, like someone like Jim, who that if somebody needs me at 4 in the morning, if I'm in their process, like I will make myself available because I have the stamina. I don't get tired. That's how I can travel and be in your space for 7 days with lots of people in conversation after conversation and not run out of steam because I'm so emotionally, spiritually am aligned and believe in what I'm doing. And to me, I have a woman right now. Just I went to Canada and I just met her, and she had a very traumatic childhood. Is married, two young kids, and one of them almost died, and has some debilitating things. And I have, I she would say I have really helped her. And but one of the things that she said to me recently in the last week was that part of what has helped her to make changes is that she can feel that I'm not just doing a job, I'm living inside of my humanity, the relationship, and that my caring is real. Like she's been in the medical system and she's gone to all these different kinds of healers and workshops and teachers, but I bring something real. And I think that it's emotional for me actually even to say to you, like, because on one hand, I have a wealth of experience in something I believe in, but like I'm a very insecure, not confident person. And doing a job that requires me to be very strong and fierce. And I don't stand up with confidence, but I do stand up with certainty. But it comes out of a vulnerability I have. I live in my heart. I live a life in my heart. That's a very, very hard thing to do in this world. And particularly, I run a business, a wellness business, for all these years from my heart. And so I'm not in the matrix at all. I've never had a job. I've never had a doctor. I've never had a doctor, and I'm 60. I'm turning 61 the week that I'm with you.
Hmm.
And it's not to say, oh, I'm so healthy. It's that I've never wanted to be inside of any system that constrained me from being my real self, but also my real self was profoundly and deeply rejected by every single thing that I came across for the first 30, 40 years of my life, which is I'm a person who lives in my vulnerability and lives in my heart. And that's where my strength comes from. And that's hard to do. But if you're somebody who needs help, like you can count on me because I know how to bring people across the river to their life purpose. And I've been on all these podcasts recently and stuff. And this lady yesterday kind of asked me something like, why do I do what I do? It was a very generic question about like how I came to this. But the thing is, this is all I'm good for. But once I recognized that, or it found me and I became that, I, I, I just do it. So,
Yeah, I think it's beautiful to live from your heart. I think that's the only way, in the end, it's the only way you can live.
well, in Chinese medicine, the heart's the governor of all the organ systems. The Sufis say the mind should be the surface of the heart. And our breath work is in the heart center, in the center of the chest. The heart is infinite. And that's just, it doesn't mean like I'm open to every single thing that happens on the outside, but I'm open to my own heart. And when I recognized, like you, the moment I met you, I knew. But it didn't mean that I was going to tell you that, or I had to follow what you wanted because I see something. But as you have asked things from me,
Hmm.
I'm only giving them from my heart. It's the only, otherwise it's exhausting. Like I don't understand how I could never like work at a university and teach something in front of a blackboard because what I'm doing is a living, breathing thing and it's based on my relationship with somebody. So,
But what you're saying, when you knew me, you now when you first saw me, then you knew it. But that you knew it at this moment. But perhaps I'm not ready at that moment, and that comes in time.
it's a mystery because I have visions and I also hear voices and they speak truths to me and I trust them 100%, but they don't all come to pass. And people have free will. And I've obviously met a lot of people in my life in this. realm of healing. And what I do is I hear what I hear, and then let the other person define the relationship. So if you said, well, what specifically did I know when I met you? It part of it's a little bit amorphous, but there's an instant recognition for me of something with you and of a possibility. And then I just hold that, because all of my work is based on you, on somebody else. Like I never give my opinions on anything ever. Yeah, outside of my work. So if you meet me on the street, I'm walking my dog, you're not going to know what my opinions are, because I don't give advice. I don't give my opinions. But I do have lots of things to say, but they're based on something you say that gets me excited to say it. So my relationship with you is based on what you've decided it is. And if it's something I don't want to do, then I'm not going to participate. But when I met you, what I could feel instantly is what you have and what you need. And like where you're meeting me in that moment of your life, where what's been done that got
Mhm.
you here and what's missing, and why you manufactured me in that moment to see the next shore. And sometimes I feel like I have karma with people, like, and
Mm.
but it's all different. And anybody who comes, I can have a profound relationship with. It might only be for an hour. Like I've had people say, that breath work was the most powerful experience of my entire life, and I'll never do it again.
Mm.
I have a friend in the UK. He's a musician friend from Toronto, identical twin. He's a drummer, but he now does documentaries for the BBC. He's a cool guy. Reconnected on Facebook, had long COVID, had sepsis, almost died in 2020. And I said, hey, I got this breath work. Like, let me help. This will help you. It's the lungs, right? COVID, it's the lungs. So he said, okay. And we did the breath work together virtually. Long COVID, completely healed in one breath. And he said to me, the last 3 minutes of the breath, he said, was an inner peace he had never felt in his whole life. And he was 58 years old.
Mhm.
Did he ever do the breath work again? No. Did he tell anybody about it? No. and, and I'm like, if I had that experience, which I did when I first did the breath work, I would share it, but he didn't. But I know that moment was impacting for him, even if he just went on to feel healthier and go back to work.
Mm.
So, but my relationship with you is different. It's like, here we are a year or a year and a half later, and
2 years.
I'm getting 2 years.
2 years.
So lost track of time.
Yeah.
I've never been to Holland. I have not met you in person, but I've seen a lot of you over these last 2 years, and look what what we're manifesting together. It's
Yes.
interesting.
I'm a different person than 2 years ago.
You are.
I get that feedback from other people too. So, and
Yeah.
it's a process. It's not. I'm not working to a result. It's a process where I'm in.
But
And
you said, what am I bringing, like Saint Nick, like just to you directly? I know that week is going to be an accelerant for
mhm.
you. You're going to get something from me and from the work that you never got before. It's going to be like more like a slingshot. And I
Mm.
feel like you're going to come out of that week feeling like a year happened.
Perhaps I have to take off for a year after this week.
Or
That's
maybe
possible.
you're going to, yeah, maybe you're going to become a cajon player in a band.
Yeah, who knows? Yes. And when is your birthday? You said it's in the weekend.
December 11th. So
11th.
just after I
Oh
come
yeah.
home. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The number 11.
Yes.
You
I,
have are we done? Do you have other questions?
oh, I have another question.
Okay.
When you breathe so much as you do, you breathe every day?
Yeah, but not for an hour. Unnecessary. But I first did the breath in 1990. So I, for the first, I've done a lot of it. But in the last 7 years, the need to breathe for an hour has gone down a lot, but the need to do some every day, and now just twice a day. Like I'll do 5 minutes in the afternoon. So good.
What
Because the afternoon, I'm usually like, I'm an old man, whatever I've done. I get up at 5:30. I got a cold plunge. I do all my stuff. I'm working. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I'm tired. And then I'll lay down and I'll breathe and I'll just the spring back up and what's next.
Yes, but perhaps you remember you had in 2023 two times the 40 days of trauma. I think the
That's where the daily breathing started
yeah.
was, and yeah, I forgot about that. Sarah reminded me we had that program, and I think breathing 5 minutes a day for someone who's doing the hour, because you can't, doing the hours is about facing yourself and like letting go and releasing trauma. 5 minutes is like pounding a rug with a stick. It's just like getting all the dust out from the previous day.
I did it for months after the 40
Yeah,
days of trauma. Treated 3 to
yeah,
5 minutes a day,
yeah.
every
And
morning, every evening.
and how was it?
Yeah, it was beautiful because when you're used to it, the energy gets pumping through your body in 30 seconds.
Well, right, and that's why I don't not going to breathe for an hour, because 10 breaths in, I'm in like a half hour in. Like if you're breathing every day, you start to not accumulate that kind of like feeling that's making you, stressed or tired or old or whatever. And then you st- you the pipe is clear, so when you breathe, you go up very quickly, right?
Yeah.
That's, and actually that's my experience. Sounds like it's yours too, but it's not everybody's experience. So
Well, what you have different sorts of music. You have the for the beginning, and then you have the faster breath. You have 6 stages in
yeah,
the breath.
it's the speed of the breath over the hour doesn't really change much. I know you're asking at the music, like all the different stages, and I have different music for it. The music is tempo wise all within a certain range, but the tracks that I was making, particularly at that time when I was making these 5 minute breath tracks, they were more kind of straight rhythmic tracks. I was starting with drums and percussion and just trying to keep it that way. So like if you go to my album, which is on all the streaming services, Rhythm, Stage 2, all those tracks are just really great to breathe to because they're so simple and they just give you a nice little clock you can breathe to. But the tempo of all the other tracks, they're also that way, but there's just so much more going on.
Well,
Oh,
in the morning, I used to. You have an album that's called Pushing.
pushing, yeah, that's
Yes.
that's stage 3. That's my favorite album.
Yeah, mine too. And I
Yeah,
used the numbers from that album to breathe in the morning, because it was faster breathing. So
yeah, the tracks are definitely faster. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and I like that.
If you go to volume 10, those tracks are pretty fast too. Sarah likes them because they're a little bit like Crazy Town. They make you a little more crazy. I have a new track that I just made, and I'll send it to you if you want to hear it. It's really fast and it will make you insane. In 5 minutes of it, it'll just get you
Okay.
way up there. So I'll
Yes.
I'll send it to you. It's in process. So yeah,
Okay. I
yeah.
think I think we're good for now.
Okay, good. All right, let's end. Uh,